Hello everybody. Well, today we're going to be talking about the hit YouTube sensation that has hit the mainstream on Prime with its first season in the last month. Having been a huge fan of the original pilot here on the website and curious to see what the main show had in store, I tuned in to see what all the buzz was about with Hazbin Hotel and give my thoughts on it. So, without any further ado, grab your snacks, grab your drinks, and let's jump into it. Roll the intro. Let's begin with the premise. Charlie Morningstar is the daughter of Lucifer himself, the devil. And having been born in hell, Charlie has a bit of a naivety around her in the beginning. So to speak, we get the impression that to her, the world around her, it's pretty much just, a regular day in hell, which is one of the songs. Yes, there will be music and we will discuss it later. So, it's all she knows. We get a backstory in the beginning about hell, Lucifer, Lilith, and how things came to be with an annual event that takes place every year with the angels descending from heaven to carry out a sort of pruning of the residents of hell. At the start of the show on Prime, Charlie has already had the hotel in full swing and is called by her father to take his place in a meeting with Adam. Yes, the one from the Garden of Eden. In the series, he's kind of a pompous jackass who in turn tells our protagonist that her idea to rehabilitate sinners is a dumb idea, and oh yeah, instead of coming down once a year to kill thousands of demons, it's gonna be twice a year. Now it's every 6 months. Pretty fast before that, we get brief introductions to the rest of the crew inside of the hotel. And ready to jump right on into the action, following these characters and moments later on in further episodes, we explore these characters in further detail. Charlie, of course, does not want this to happen to her people or their souls. So she and her group of colorful friends set out to lure people to the hotel in hopes of saving as many souls as possible before the next extermination takes place, now just 6 months away. Now, let's jump into all the other bits and bobbles, starting with the animation. The animation was, of course, very well done, although noticeably just a bit different and toned down than the original YouTube pilot. But not too much that it became a problem for me. There are some things that do seem a bit off, and the camera angles were a bit shaky in some places. But again, it's a VidCpop production. They appeared to use this quite a bit, so it was a little bit expected for certain styles of the animation to carry over from YouTube to Amazon Prime. Every character, background, and protagonist is well designed and full of interesting things to look at or things that showcase their individual personalities. Done with VidCpop's or Vivian's, her name is Vivian Madrano, but she goes by VidCpop here on YouTube. Done in Vivian's signature style that harkens back to the older days of the internet where people were known for making their OCs think like villainous or slender like creepypastas. Vivian seems to have carried on and kept on with that kind of style, reminiscent of a little bit of like Villainous or Invader Zim was another one that was really popular, and I really do appreciate her signature style. It's a decision that I respect her for going with and just never stopping. It's nice to see different art styles get some love on bigger screens. While it can be a change to get used to for some people who are more familiar with and coming from the YouTube fandom itself, it wasn't too much of an issue during my entire watch. It still did its job very well and was well done nonetheless. Let's jump into my second point, the characters. A thing about the characters with this show is the fact that somewhere along the line, when this Amazon show was heading in towards reality, there unfortunately were some changes that stirred quite a bit of controversy. One in particular being the complete overhaul of the main cast of original voice actors from the main cast. They were all recast for more household names within Amazon as a whole. Instead of the original voices who brought life and so much personality to everyone from Charlie to Alistair, The original voice cast recently made a song that makes a final farewell to them being in the roles, as well as a wishing of good luck to everybody now taking up the mantles in which they created. I didn't entirely notice the difference in the voices, besides here and there, and my opinion in the new voice cast, I think they did a good job. Speaking of this, not everybody seemed to have been cut. In one note, a fan favorite actor, Brandon Rogers, who is in Vivian's other show online called Hell of a Boss, was cast as Katie Killjoy in Hazbin Hotel, so it seems like some people were able to make an appearance from the YouTube sphere, along with Vivian's name being on the whole project. He's best known for his role as Blitzo, if anybody doesn't know. No issues with the actors, but I do wish the original voice actors all the best luck in the world, and I cannot wait personally to see what these people do next, now that they are free of Hazbin Hotel. I do wish them the best of luck, and no hate to the new actors at all. Even the original voice actors are like, good luck, we wish we could have been enough to carry on being these roles. We adored being in these roles, but our time is over, and best of luck to everybody else. And yeah, it's sad, and I cried, because I do adore every single one of these voice actors, but things are gonna happen as much as we don't like it. I mean, it's not every day that a YouTuber is able to make what they make on YouTube and take it into being an actual TV show, which is crazy, and we're seeing more of it recently, and it's another point that I will get into. But for now, the voice acting was fine. I didn't really notice the new voice actors. I mean, I did in the beginning, but once I kept going with the show, I noticed it less and less. So I think the new voice actors did a fairly good job. Let's move on to the pacing. The pacing was a bit clunky and in some places felt rushed. Something that I've noticed in recent animation projects as a whole. Partially, I believe it's due to the current animation sphere as a whole. Networks are killing off good shows because within the first season, they don't make bank or they don't attract the right audience, and so animation projects are getting killed left and right. I mean, Inside Job, anyone? Inside Job, done by the same creators as Gravity Falls. How did Netflix fumble the bag so hard? I'm sure everybody that's a fan of animation can name at least one current show that was cut down so soon before it was able to gain steam and then gained popularity later. I mean, if you can think of a show right now, put it down in the comments. I'm sure within the last 10 years, everybody can name at least one animated series that they were really into that was cut down far short of what should have been its finale. And because a first season doesn't become an instant hit, making huge numbers, well, I can kind of see why this show had this weight on it and this heat on it to take advantage of a first season. And with this show now entering the mainstream and being a YouTube project, it probably felt the heat a little bit more to perform and to just needing to hook as many people as possible and with big moments to grab the most viewers it can before the potential blade can come down to cancel it, before getting its proper shot to attract the best audience. It shows in moments that are seemingly going to carry out throughout the whole season, maybe tied up in the finale, only to be revealed in a couple episodes later. One moment in particular being a moment where in the very beginning of the show, there's a mystery laid in place where someone has killed an angel of heaven. I thought personally that this would carry on throughout the entire show. It would be an ongoing mystery in order to stick it to heaven. And in the end, we do stick it to heaven. That's all I'll say. Things are said, things are done. I'm not going to spoil the show because it's still relatively new, but I thought this was going to be a much bigger mystery that we would focus on, and it was revealed not even like 2 episodes later. So I don't know why it was really important to set that up, especially when it's revealed to be a character that I think we meet that episode. So the pacing was a little bit off. And now let's move on to the music in this show. The music in this show was top notch. Every song is a banger. For those of you who don't know, Vidzi Pop, Vivian Medrano, is known for putting songs within her projects. And Hazbin Hotel is definitely no different with that. But while I know musical shows aren't everybody's thing, I think the songs will be entertaining enough for most people to forgive it. Personally, I think the songs add a bit more to the story, the feelings, and the inner workings of the story as a whole. One detail in particular I enjoyed, and one character I particularly enjoyed that we're introduced to in the show, was Charlie's dad, Lucifer. And in his first song, which is a duet with Alistair, which is another one of my favorite characters. I think I like all the characters in the show, but I don't know why. Alistair kind of gives me like the classic Bill Cipher human OC vibe that I remember everybody was into on Tumblr and copying that and pasting it. So it kind of reminds me of Bill Cipher in a way, and with like the same kind of like weird shady powers. So I like Alistair, and the duet that Lucifer does with Alistair is so funny because they're fighting it out. They're having a duet, they're having like a battle. And Alistair makes a really good point. Again, I'm not going to spoil it. He makes a really good point. And Charlie's dad's way of responding is to pull out a golden fiddle. Which, those of you who know the song, The Devil Went Down to Georgia, for those of you who don't know what The Devil Went Down to Georgia is about the devil getting challenged by a man named Johnny for his golden fiddle. So the fact that they included the fact that the devil in Hazbin Hotel plays a golden fiddle was such a fun little thing that I noticed. And shout out to his voice actor. I don't know who plays him. I'll probably put it somewhere on screen. But wonderful voice acting. Did a great job singing. I just thought Lucifer was a really good addition to everything, and getting to explore more about Charlie and her family as a whole, I think was really nice. So, the music in this show is all bangers, no misses. Really enjoyed every freaking song. And I will not ironically or unironically put some of these on my playlist. Here's a bit of my random thoughts about the show. The show tries handling some more sensitive subjects along the way, such as the nuance of Angel Dust and his addictions. The selling of his soul and using the title of being I'll put it on the screen, to essentially dissociate from the harsh reality that is slowly killing him inside. Some are having issues with this, and I think it's an alright take, maybe a bit messy, and definitely not glorifying it, as some are claiming out there. In my opinion, I think it's taking the glitz and glam that most people see in, like, I don't know, the normal adult industry, or the glitz and glam we see in, like, Hollywood. It's taking the glitz of glam like something like Hollywood or the corn industry and slowly stripping that away to reveal that fame, money, glitz and glimmer of that industry are nothing more than a facade to very many people in the real world. People who live the same types of lives, so to speak, in varying degrees. I mean, we've seen this in real life with people in Hollywood who you think would never, ever have a single problem in the whole world. We think that people like, I don't know, Britney Spears were fine this whole time. People thought Britney Spears was just fine and off her rocker this whole time and was clearly crying out for help, and it called a lot of us who thought, something ain't right here, and called us crazy. Turns out Britney Spears has been going through hell. I think it's, or even like people like Princess Diana. I mean, think about it. Princess Diana was literally royalty. And we all know the bullshit that she was dealing with behind the scenes. especially in later years with all the books and movies and TV shows that go over and over again, the stuff that Diana went through. I think it's and maybe they're not being hurt in those kind of ways, but it does show that glitz and all that glitz and glam and all that glitters sometimes really isn't gold. It can be harsh and awful. I mean, children stars. I mean, people of my era. I'm talking like the kids that grew up with like High School Musical being the next big event, or the Kids' Choice Awards. Like, the way I know people my age, which is like your mid-20s people, idolized a lot of child stars. A lot of us idolized child stars. We thought, I mean, I personally thought, these kids must live such great lives. They must have, you know, friends, really cool friends over every night. They must all be friends on set. I mean, the people that play the best friends in the show must be best friends in real life. They must have all the care in the no cares in the world. They must not even have to go to school. I thought being a child star must have been the coolest fucking job in the world. And now look at it. I mean, we're hearing things about Dan Schneider. Jeanette McCurdy came out with a book. We've seen child stars again and again falling into the same things as Angel Dust and dealing with a lot of the same fucking problems. So I don't see where people are saying it's glorifying it. I think it's taking the image that we all associate with it, which is the glitz and glam, and, you know, the facade that everything's fine, everything's cool, these people are rich, these people have money, these people are, you know, gorgeous and sexual and amazing and glamorous. And then taking it away to reveal that it's really all just poison, which I think is like the whole message of the fucking song. I don't think it's glorifying it at all. So, I mean, if you want to debate that, let me know in the let's have a good creative discussion in the comments section. Let's debate it, and let's talk about it like adults. Alright? Because that's what I get from it. It's just my opinion. I'm just a random person on the internet talking about a TV show. Talking about an animated TV show. You know, you don't have to take my opinions as gods. My word ain't law. I'm not on the project. These are just the opinions of a random person on the internet. It's called The Random Show. So, take my opinions with a grain of salt. This is just what I got out of the show personally. So, if you want to try to change my mind, let's go to the comments and not resort to insults. Thank you. Let's move on. There are genuinely heartfelt moments in this show, engaging characters, and an awesome soundtrack. Other than a couple minor things, I think the show is pretty good and definitely worth watching at least one time and seeing if it's your vibe. It's 18 plus, so of course there's gonna be adult humor in there. There's blood, there's gore, there's jokes, there's all kinds of different, you know, innuendos, not so subtle innuendos. Like, it's an adult show, okay? For everybody, which I don't have many people that are that are under 18 on this channel. Thank God. I'm not the vegan teacher. Yes, I will keep throwing shade at her. Anyway, if you're under 18 and you're somehow watching this review, don't watch this TV show without the consent of your parents, or you know, don't just go and say, oh, my parents are cool, they'll let me watch it. I know how you kids are. I was one of those sneaky kids. I see you. But, you know, you should ask your parents if you're allowed to watch this or not. Okay? Okay. Just want to get that out of the way. You know, disclaimer, 18 plus. The jokes are fine. They landed most of the time, and overall, I think the first season did a good job of getting people up to the point of the rest of us in the beginning, and then heading into the continuation of what we've seen in the pilot in this first season. With this being a fellow creators show hitting the mainstream, I think it's pretty awesome to see that other YouTubers are getting such big breaks now more often. I mean, from The Legend of Vox Machina that's also on Prime. The Legend of Vox Machina, for those of you who do not know, was the highest funded Kickstarter in recent time. It raised like $10 million on Kickstarter, and it was to fund an animated just an animated short from the YouTubers over at Critical Role, which is a live D&D TTRPG live stream where they film every single time they get together at the table. And Legend of Vox Machina is a whole season, well actually 2 seasons now, that's on Amazon Prime based on their first campaign, Vox Machina, which is how we get the name of the show, The Legend of Vox Machina. And they went to every single network, and the only people that greenlit them was Amazon. So it seems like Amazon is pretty much taking the lead with this. And actually, for those of you that are also critters out there and fans of Critical Role, we're also getting the Mighty Nine eventually animated. So that's their second campaign, is also getting an animated show, the Mighty Nine. So I'm real hyped to see that. Real excited to see it. I mean, and not just like in the role-playing game or the animation sphere. I mean, we just got the freaking FNAF movie over at Blumhouse. We just got the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. There's been talks of, I heard like a Poppy Playtime movie in the works. I've heard that there's maybe a Cuphead. I mean, we even got a Cuphead TV show, which was another indie game that got greenlit. We're also getting a Bendy and the Ink Machine movie. I heard, which is another one of my all-time favorite indie horror games. I'm so hyped that all these creators are being seen by mainstream networks. Things are getting looked at, and the mainstream media and other big movie houses and TV show networks are looking at people online and their creativity and their cool projects and being like, hey, this is really popular online. We want to fund you. We want to make your dream a reality. We want to take a piece of the pie, which sometimes isn't so good. Not so good sometimes. Gotta admit. But hey, I mean, I think it's a really great thing. And if you want to support someone and kind of help keep this thing going, I say go ahead and give Hazbin Hotel at least a watch one time. See if it's your vibe. Help support a fellow creator, you know, as they're achieving something that was a few years ago pretty much impossible. So it's pretty wicked to see this YouTuber that everyone's been following for such a long time that started out with just animation videos. And yeah, Vivian's got her own controversies, but I think it's cool nonetheless to see, I mean, so to speak, the rising tide lifts all boats. So with this, maybe some other cool shit, like the Digital Circus. I mean, Digital Circus went freaking huge. So, who knows? Maybe we'll see a Digital Circus TV show getting approved sometime in the future. Everyone loved that, including the smutty, the artists, for some reason. It's just like Elsa and Spider-Man all over again. But yeah, overall, I think Hazbin Hotel was great. I think it was good. I have no problems. Besides the pacing, the story felt a little bit rushed at times. But other than that, I think it was pretty charming and pretty freaking cool. So, that's my opinion on Hazbin Hotel. I'm going to give it a solid 7 out of 10. If you've gotten this far, hi. My name's Randomness. I don't just talk about movies or TV shows. I also talk about books, movies. I talk about whatever I want to talk about. I talk about whatever I want to talk about. I've been doing gameplay recently and fiddling around with some cameras and things. Like currently, this is my only webcam. So, trying to learn how to film with this on my laptop so I don't have to like put the cord in the phone and do that whole thing every single time I want to edit that I've been doing for the last 4 years. So I'm making some changes, trying to make some better technological improvements. So there'll be issues as I'm figuring things out, especially the gameplay. It's a whole new process I'm learning. So yeah, if you want to stick around for the adventure, hit the like and subscribe. Stay tuned. Things are happening. I'm trying to post as soon as I can, every time I can. So yeah, stay tuned for more. I love you all so much, and I hope you have the best day. Bye!